Guys, get ready. Get ready. Here we go. Donald Trump points out that Hillary Clinton's closest aide is married to a disgraced sexual deviant. Speaking of Hillary Clinton, it appears the media has finally fallen out of love with her, and the first black president's own administration recently paid a controversial black civil rights activist to deliver an anti-white racist tirade. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook, and on YouTube, and on Tumblr, and in the book, Real Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back. Buckle up. Item from the Daily Mail. Donald Trump charged on Wednesday that a sexually deviant former congressman who's married to Hillary Clinton's closest aide has likely seen the contents of classified emails that passed through the former Secretary of State's private homebrew server. Huma Abedin, the Pakistani-American chief of staff to Clinton, was wed in 2010 to then Congressman Anthony Weiner, the Democrat whose star fell to earth amid lewd sexting scandals. Republicans in Washington are furious with Clinton for destroying tens of thousands of emails dating from her time in office and for including classified information in an unknown number of others. Trump told DailyMail.com during a wide-ranging interview in his New York City office that, quote, the person seeing her emails more than anybody else is Huma. And who is Huma married to? The worst deviant in the United States of America, right? Weiner, unquote. Challenged on whether the former New York congressman is actually the nation's worst deviant, Trump retreated an inch. Quote, well, he's right up there. Abedin holds a security clearance as a former State Department deputy chief of staff of the kind that would typically come with detailed guidance on what kind of information must be kept secret from family members, including spouses. Weiner was forced out of Congress in disgrace after a string of lewd online behaviors was uncovered, mostly revolving around Twitter. Trump said his actions were, quote, shocking and disgusting, and questioned whether, quote, anyone that untrustworthy should be anywhere around national secrets. The McClatchy News Service reported Thursday that so far information in the classified emails identified as having resided on Clinton's private server has been traced to 5 different U.S. intelligence agencies. There's no evidence that Weiner himself has been made privy to sensitive or classified information, but such a lapse in data security would create a new headache for Clinton, who is gamely keeping her presidential candidacy afloat while investigations swirl around her, unquote. My friends, if only the entire nation had been listening to your humble servant, Howard Riell, for the past several years, telling them that Hillary Clinton is dirt, that Hillary Clinton is a mosquito, that her ambition easily overrules and overshadows her limited intelligence, that she's never accomplished anything, that the people she's surrounded with are similar ilk, and that she would be poison, strychnine for American politics. Well, now slowly but surely the major media is coming to recognize what I've been saying all along, only without the multi-million-dollar-a-year contract. Speaking of which, related item from the Washington Examiner. Is the summer of media love over for Hillary Clinton? Cable news was not at all kind to the former Secretary of State Monday, as she was dinged on multiple fronts for being supposedly out of touch and inauthentic. All of this as rumors circulate that she may have a serious 2016 Democratic competitor in the form of Vice President Joe Biden. Stop! My friends, if we were going to have a discussion about politics and which political party to vote for, and you wanted me to tell you why not to vote for the Democrats, here it is. Their top 2 candidates are Hillary Clinton, who has never accomplished a single thing in her life, who's got scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal, who would put a knife in anyone's back in order to advance up the power chain. The only other candidate Democrats are talking about is Joe Biden, who back in 1988, about 200 years ago, ran for president, and he left in disgrace after it was shown that he had copied other people's writings. And then more recently, over the last several years, I guess 9 or 10 years, Biden has been regularly sticking his foot in his mouth, saying stupid thing after stupid thing, showing that he is, as he always has been, the premier horse's rectum in American politics. These are your Democratic champions. So if you want to vote Democrat, you can. It's a free country. But that would make you kind of not as smart as these two bobos. But I digress. Clinton's early announced $2 million ad buy, for example, will likely do little to convince voters that she's a soft, authentic side, MSNBC talking head suggested on Monday. I just saw her picture on the front of New York Magazine, morning host Joe Scarborough said. Her head was back. It was one of those fake, phony campaign laughs that she does, where she throws her head back and you know it's phony. Bloomberg News' Mark Halperin added, quote, in the short term, the echo chamber matters a lot. There's no one inside the echo chamber who looks at these two new ads and goes, wow, that's awesome, that's awe-inspiring. The panel suggested that Clinton's infamously slow and cautious approach to campaigning has likely contributed to her unflattering image as being out of touch. Stop, my friends, common sense. The reason Clinton has, infamously slow and cautious approach is that she waits to see what other people are saying and then she echoes it. It's like the famous saying about the French plutocrat. He waits to see which direction the mob is going and then he runs to the front so he can be a leader. Clinton has nothing to offer that America wants or needs. MSNBC contributor Willie Geist added the following. It feels a lot of the time like she knows she's up by 40 points. This approach seems to be, don't say anything to mess with that. Don't answer a question directly because you don't have to. You can kind of obfuscate about things and be vague. I think that catches up with you eventually. At CNN, talk of Clinton's authenticity problem was much of the same, unquote. My friends, these are all major problems for Hillary, except with the low information voters, the people who are Hillary Clinton because I want a woman for president. Or the people who are so profoundly stupid, they'll say, well, she's got all that experience in the White House. Well, all she did in the White House is clean up her horny husband's messes. We're off to a rollicking start. Anyway, it's Real Truth. It's Tuesday. We'll take a break and we'll be back. I promise. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid that quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Earth herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street, using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit, just return the bottle into your full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, Defense's Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB, that's 888-765-4372. Now, this is the testimony of John, when the Jews sent 370 lights from Jerusalem
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready if you are. In fact, I'm ready even if you're not. The name is Howard Riell. The show is called Real Truth, my friends. Welcome back. Lots of places we have to go. Item from Judicial Watch. The U.S. government paid a controversial civil rights activist / comedian to deliver an anti-white racist tirade at a major federal agency during Black History Month, and Judicial Watch has obtained a disturbing transcript of the offensive political rant. It took place at the United States Census Bureau earlier this year, and the paid speaker was Dick Gregory, a self-professed humanitarian and drum major for justice who claims that his social satire changed the way white Americans perceived African-American comedians. But Gregory's angry outburst at the Census Bureau was not funny to some employees, and the agency was forced to explain it will not thoroughly review its procedures for selecting future speakers to, quote, ensure their views are appropriate for the federal workplace, unquote. Based on Gregory's well-known reputation as a fiery race baiter, it's unlikely that the government officials who booked him didn't know about his discriminating, shock-based performances. The Census Bureau paid Gregory $1,400 to, quote, share a wealth of history as a civil rights activist, unquote, according to the records obtained by JW under the federal public records law known as the Freedom of Information Act. Instead, American taxpayers funded a disgusting stand-up routine filled with the N-word and replete with conspiracy theories about whites and the U.S. government targeting prominent blacks, including Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, for assassination or career destruction, golfer Tiger Woods and beleaguered comedian Bill Cosby. Gregory also said whites stole black inventions such as ice hockey and the cotton gin, and accused the U.S. government of conspiring to kill Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and Tamir Rice in Cleveland, Ohio. The movie King Kong is really a depiction of former heavyweight champion Jack Johnson dating white women. Gregory claimed at the Census Bureau performance, and whites treat President Obama, quote, like dirt, and, quote, like he's a redneck cracker that can't read or write, unquote. Gregory delivered most of his routine in Ebonics, also known as African American Vernacular English, and advised his black audience not to obey, quote, white racist cops, which he also referred to as filth. My friends, I'm an old geezer. I'm old enough so that I remember Dick Gregory back from when I was a kid. Back then, Dick Gregory was viewed as a figure of enlightenment, of reason, arguing correctly that blacks were being treated badly in America and that had to change, and I give him credit for that. But, now he's taken his act too far down the road. This is indeed a racist rant. And if people out there, my liberal friends out there who are wondering, and if you're a liberal listening to me, please put down the crayons for a minute because I'm talking to you. If you're wondering what life in America would be like under the first black president, this is what life is like under a racist president. I don't care if he's black or white or green. This kind of thing can only happen in an administration that wasn't really interested in equality and civil rights, but is interested in getting back at those who have persecuted us in the past. As I've said on the show many, many times, racism is an obscenity. It's wrong. It's terrible. No matter which direction it's going in. It's wrong, and it is always wrong. So I hope the Census Bureau had the good sensus to apologize to the audience members and to fire the ass of whoever it was who asked Dick Gregory to speak to the Census Bureau employees and who paid him with your tax dollars and mine. If there's no room for racism, and there isn't, then there's certainly no room for it in our federal government. Item from the Washington Times: Obamacare has offered insurance to millions of people, but they're unhappy with the coverage they're getting and are particularly upset about the costs, according to a survey released Monday that suggests the health care law continues to struggle to win over Americans. Just 30% of customers on Obamacare's exchanges were satisfied with their coverage, the healthcare research firm of Deloitte Consulting said, unquote. My friends, you ever hear the expression, beggars can't be choosers? These people on the Obamacare rolls are largely people who couldn't get insurance before. So now, thanks to robbery from the rest of the American people, now they're able to get insurance and they don't like it. In other words, their free handout isn't good enough. Well, that's fine with me. I'm more than happy to cancel Obamacare and drop these people and let them fend for themselves. Item from YouTube.com in response to Fox News' Judge Jeanine Pirro's question concerning Obama's nuclear concessions to Iran. Real estate mogul and former U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump, now I wonder why it says former, it's not, and U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump said last week, quote, probably, maybe from the beginning, there's never been a greater enemy to Israel than Barack Obama. It's incredible. Stop! People say to me, why do you want to vote for Donald Trump? Don't you know he's Donald Trump? Why would you vote for him? Well, there are many answers. He's not a career hack politician. He's not playing the PC game. He's not afraid to speak his mind. And the most important thing, as we see demonstrated here, he's not afraid to speak the truth. My friends, we live in a sorry, woe-begotten age in which truth has become a dirty word. But you know, truth is, after all, truth. And it doesn't stop being truth just because some liberal wants to wash your mouth out with a bar of soap. Obama is a terrible enemy of Israel because he's a Muslim, or at the very least in love with Islam, and he's an anti-Semite. Hates Israel, hates Jews, and by the way, hates America and Americans too. Who the hell else has said that besides me and Donald Trump? So what's the difference between me and Donald Trump? All right, $9 billion. But aside from that, Trump then added, quote, the way he treats them, the way he's speaking to them, I think he treats our known enemies much better, unquote. Correct. More truth from Donald Trump. Truth that everybody has known, but shh, you can't say it because if you do, you're a racist. Well, piss on that. The truth doesn't take a backward step for anyone. And if anybody wants to try and place a tag on me, they're free to. They can say whatever they want. I always come out on the side of truth, and that is my shield. We continue. Upon additional questioning by Judge Pirro with regard to the United States Ambassador Susan Rice's walking out of the UN before Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's General Assembly speech, and the Obama administration's reported chicken blank remark, Trump went on to explain, quote, look, they don't like him, and they don't like Israel. And that's what I say. I speak to friends of mine that are Jewish. I say, how are you supporting this man? He's the worst thing that's ever happened to Israel. What's going to happen is, the way it's going, Iran will have a nuclear weapon, and it's very close. And as soon as that happens, it's a new ballgame. The United States is so poorly run, he said. When you look at relations with other countries in history, it's never been like this. Not one country do we get along with anymore. And it's not like we don't get along because we're taking advantage of them. We don't get along and they are taking advantage of us. Unquote. My friends, point after point after point is truth and truth and truth. The United States has become a sad sack, an international joke. And by the way, it's happened under Obama and under Bush and under Clinton and under Bush. So this is not partisan politics. I am railing against the single political party in the United States. It's called the big government party, and it is poison for you and me. Item. From the Washington Examiner, an investigation may have found evidence of top State Department aide to Hillary Clinton took advantage of government employment rules with potential conflicts of interest and overpayments. In a letter to Secretary of State John Kerry on Thursday, Senator Chuck Grassley, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, said an Inspector General probe suggested Huma Abedin leveraged her State Department job to benefit two other employers at the time, the Clinton Foundation and a consulting firm called Teneo Strategies. Teneo Strategies was founded by a longtime aide to Bill Clinton, Douglas Band, and boasted the former president as a paid board member when it first launched in 2011. Abedin allegedly sent or received more than 7,000 emails on her government account that involved Band. The letter said, unquote. My friends, can you smell that? That stench is coming from Bill and Hillary Clinton and everybody with whom they are closely associated. I'm telling you, it is a stomach-turning stench. Item from CBS LA, Dateline Huntington Park. That's a suburb of Los Angeles. Huntington Park may become the first city in California to appoint 2 undocumented immigrants as commissioners on city advisory boards, a lawmaker confirms. And stop right there. My friends, anybody out there wonder why I yell when I do this show? Here we've got 2 undocumented immigrants. Why are they undocumented immigrants? Because it's not nice anymore to say illegal immigrants. Well, I was never a fan of the phrase illegal immigrants. I was much more a fan of the phrase criminal. They came into this country illegally. They broke our laws. They are criminals. Why they're not in a jail cell or on their way back to Mexico, I have no explanation for you. There is no explanation. If the federal government is saying you can break the law and you don't mind, I'm going to head on down the street to a local bank. What the hell is this? People come here illegally, stay here illegally. They're allowed to vote. They get driver's licenses. They get in-state tuition rates. Now they're part of the local government. They're commissioners. Have we gone completely insane? That's a rhetorical question. I know that we have. This is Looney Tunes. This is a bizarro universe. City Councilman Johnny Pineda has picked Francisco Medina to join the Health and Education Commission and Julian Zatarain for the Parks and Recreation Commission. The 32-year-old lawmaker told CBS LA online producer Deborah Mayron that he promised voters while running for office he would create more opportunities for undocumented residents. Stop! My friends, I'm not running for any office, but I would also create more opportunities for undocumented residents. I would create opportunities for them to get the hell out. I would create opportunities for them to receive not a dime while they're here illegally. Most of all, I would create opportunities for their asses to be tossed in a jail cell. That's called having a country that runs according to the rule of law. If you don't want that, bon voyage. Go somewhere else. You're not wanted here. The only thing that holds our society together is respect for the rule of law. And this City Councilman Johnny Pineda is pissing all over that. Which explains why he's at home in the state of California. Item. From Reuters, a Boston area police officer pleaded not guilty on Tuesday to charges of repeatedly punching a handcuffed suspect that he had taken into custody and then lying about it, according to local prosecutors and police. The officer, Felix Rivera, has been suspended from his position with the Chelsea Police Department following the September 24, 2014 incident, which led to charges of assault and battery, filing a false police report, and violating the suspect's civil rights. Unquote. Item from the end of the American dream. Could you live without debt? Most Americans say that they cannot. According to a brand new Pew survey, approximately 7 out of every 10 Americans believe, quote, debt is necessary in their lives, unquote. And approximately 8 out of every 10 Americans actually has debt right now. Most of us like to think that someday we'll get out of the hole and quit being debt slaves, but very few of us ever actually accomplish this. That's because the entire system is designed to trap us in debt before we even get out into the real world and keep us in debt until we die. Sadly, most Americans don't even realize what's being done to them. In America today, debt is considered to be just part of normal life. We go into debt to go to college, we go into debt to buy a vehicle, we go into debt to buy a home, and we are constantly using our credit cards to buy the things we think we need. As a result, this generation of Americans is absolutely swimming in debt. The following are some of the findings of the Pew survey that I just mentioned. 8 in 10 Americans have debt, with mortgages the most common liability. Although younger generations of Americans are the most likely to have debt, 89% of Gen Xers and 86% of millennials do, older generations are increasingly carrying debt into retirement. 7 in 10 Americans said debt is a necessity in their lives, even though they prefer not to have it. We'll take a break, my friends. We are far from through. More real truth ahead.
providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Lakes Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplainsolar.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. Well, it had to happen. When Colorado legalized marijuana, most people thought the Green Earth was a marijuana dispensary. Also, it was legalized on January the 1st, 2014. The same day we opened our new location at 4565 Kiffin Street, 1.5 blocks south of I-70. There are 83,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Kiffin Street, and most of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So we changed the name of our retail store to New Businesses Health, but we kept the name of our Green Earth supplements. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Businesses Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372. And be sure to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with Linda Phillips every Tuesday at 1 p.m. And of His fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, He has declared Him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. I'm about to play a video for you. It's from Fox News, Bill O'Reilly interviewing Donald Trump. You should be able to hear it on video if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on Tumblr. If for some reason you can't, no problem. Go to my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. I have linked the video right there, and here we go.
Gentlemen, I am officially running
My friends, listen to this. This is strength. This is common sense. This is leadership. Barack Obama is a nothing. Bill O'Reilly keeps saying, well, that won't work, and that won't work, and that won't work. Meanwhile, what Trump is saying is that he will use all the power at his command. He will use his full arsenal of weapons to pressure countries to do what we want them to do. And he can do that because we're America and we're still the richest and most powerful. And he comes in not as a politician. He comes in as a leader, a negotiator. He's wanting to deal from strength. I referenced earlier in the show the fact that I'm an old geezer. I remember from the time I was a kid reading about how America was negotiating with other countries, specifically back then the Soviet Union, and how the Soviet Union always was operating from a position of strength and we were always on the bottom. Trump wants to turn that around, which is exactly and precisely what America and the West needs more than ever before. I got about 1 more minute for this video. Let's go.
All right.
We don't charge them because we're stupid. He's calling a spade a spade. He is absolutely right. My friends, you tell me, why, if China is charging us tariffs, why are we not charging them tariffs? Now, I'm waiting. Tell me. Does it make sense to you? Donald Trump wants to operate from a position of strength, and he's not afraid to hammer away at those who are screwing us over. And it's high time we had a leader to do that. All right, we'll take a break, and we will be back, my friends. More Real Truth.